Hello and welcome to my video for take apart and light service of this Abu Garcia 1044 Syncro Match reel, closed face reel. Now we're going to be taking off the outer spool cover, the inner bell housing, and we're going to be checking the parts for ease of movement, maybe a re-grease if necessary. And we're going to take this screw out from the main body and have a look if everything's working properly in there. Now it feels generally smooth enough. It does need a good clean and needs some new line putting on the spool. Now for first time use of one of these closed face reels, it can be quite awkward and a bit fiddly to work out how to take the individual pieces apart. First off, we're going to be taking off this outer casing, protective casing, and there is a small groove just there underneath the Abu Garcia name. That shows you where the spool comes away and goes back on. Now we need to grip the handle because we don't want the handle spinning, and we're going to grip this neck here for the rod attachment. I'll get a good grip, and it's anti-clockwise as you're looking at it to release the spool. It's a short twist, what's that, just about 3/4 of an inch, and just pulls clean away. Now you can see there is a groove notch there, which lines up with this little groove here to pop it back on. It can be a little bit fiddly. There you go, we're in. Check it's flush all the way around. It's just a small twist back, that's it, it's on. So small twist away, pull it away, we'll set that aside here. Now we're going to be taking this inner bell housing off, which is the opposite direction. There is an arrow there pointing clockwise which says off. Now I had a bit of a game getting this off earlier when I came to normally twist it off. There is a very small lever there which says gear lock, a little push button. Now I push that in, holding the handle, getting a good grip, and clockwise it just twists off. It's on a screw thread, so if you struggle to just unscrew it normally, we'll just screw it back on. Should screw back on, yes that is, it's tightened up. Now it should come away by itself. There, it's come away by itself. If you do struggle, hold that button in, hold everything tight and twist it off. Okay, so we're looking there, it all looks fairly clean to be fair. Yeah, it's got a little bit of grease on it, might add a tiny bit more grease to that. Yeah, it's got the mechanism, we'll just set this down. It's got this push button mechanism on the top here for the line release. The little rods stick out from the sides there. That sets back in place when you turn the handle off the mechanism. So I'll just set that down. Now the spool should just pop straight off. Bit of a wiggle. I'm quite fiddly, and that's just popped off. That could do with a little clean. We need to take that line off there. It's gone too far down. It's not coming away from the spool cleanly enough. All that in there looks fairly clean. We'll give that a little clean away with a cotton bud. I've also got a wet wipe there to give it a little wipe around, clean everything up. Try to use a non-sticky wet wipe that leaves a sticky residue after. Use something like a cucumber one or a slightly less sticky substance on it. Also need a paper towel for wiping up after, just to clean away any excess residue. So we'll set that down, we'll get a cotton bud, and we'll carry on with cleaning the insides out. So we've got ourselves a cotton bud. These are quite handy for if you use both sides. Use the one side for cleaning, you can use the other side for applying the re-grease. So just have a scrape round the inside of the spool, get any excess muck away. You can see that coming off onto the cotton bud. There will be a little bit of grease on there as well. That's no problem, as you're going to be putting some more on, some fresh grease. We've got thorough clean all the way in the grooves. Quite a lot of muck's come away there. Seems to be operating fairly smoothly. Should be better when it's had an application of grease. So we'll just set that down and get our pot of grease. Now this is multi-purpose lithium grease. You can use it for all sorts of things, mechanical, etc. Obviously this is mechanical. So get a little bit of grease on the other end. Remember, that was the dirty end. That should be plenty, I think. Right. I just want to grease along this centre shaft where the mechanism moves up and down. Very light application around there. Turn the handle. When it gets to its full extent, you can get underneath and apply some grease under there as well. That should be plenty. So try that again. That's flowing a lot better now. Okay, now we want to take this crosshead screw out of here so we can open the body and have a look inside there. Very small screwdriver. I've already taken it partially out. Careful not to drop the screw on the floor, they're very small. Do it over the top of your desk or newspaper. It's quite a long screw thread actually, that is. It's got to go straight through to here. Now use another flat screwdriver there to get into the body. There, just prise it apart. It comes off this other side. Yeah, that's a little bit dirty, that is. It does need cleaning out. We'll get the wet wipe on it first and then get the cotton bud in there. Clean this excess muck away with the wet wipe. Paper towel just to get the excess moisture off now that we've cleaned it. Set that aside and then come back to the main mechanics here. I'll get back to our cotton bud. Make sure to get all round the rims. There doesn't seem to be a great deal of grease, original grease left on that. So a fairly liberal help in there. Dip back in our grease pot. Slightly more liberal amount this time because we're going into the main gear area. There's quite a lot of moving parts. Start off with the bits you can see. Then you can always turn the handle and re-grease the rest. Make sure to get in all the grooves of the gear wheel across this shaft too. That should be plenty. That's a nice smooth operation now. Okay, so we need to replace the spool back on. Bit of a twist, bit of a pull. Yeah, that's back in place now. Before we take that line off, then we want to replace the body casing. There's a little notch there that needs to sit in the very small hole just there. Slot it all back together. That's it. That's that back in. Replace the screw. And we need to make it tight, but not too tight, so it's difficult to get back off next time. Once it feels tight, give it a tiny extra turn. That should be enough now. Let's just test it's going to come away easy next time. So just tight and then a tiny extra turn, quarter turn, that's enough. Okay, then now we will remove this line, replace it with some new line. Put a tiny bit of grease on these moving parts here, which is springs either side for the rods. Need to grease all moving parts. Grease the thread as well, so just makes it a little bit easier for getting it on and off next time. That should be more than enough. Right, so that's basically how to take apart and service your Abu closed face reel. Oh, sorry, it goes back on anti-clockwise. Keeping hold of the handle. That's it, we're back on. Just check the operation of the line release rod clip. Just a simple push button mechanism. Very clever design. That all seems to be working perfectly now. Very smooth. Okay, thanks for watching. I hope this video has helped you.